Okay, today we're going to be doing the backside of the histograms and box and whiskers, which means today we're going to be focused solely on box and whiskers. So luckily there's no worksheets here. You can go ahead and just copy all that down. Press pause in the video if you need to. I'm going to go ahead and assume that you already did that, and we're going to just jump in. So today we're going to be graphing box and whiskers, which is kind of a way of breaking down information into like fourths. That's basically what it is. I know it's a 5-number summary, but it kind of tells you like, oh, 25% of my numbers are here, the other 25% are here, and so on and so forth, right? On a box and whisker plot, there are going to be 5 different spots that we're going to be worried about. So those 5 vocabulary words that you see there. Now, I know I put them in this order, but we're actually going to be defining them in a different order. And I want you to put the markings as I'm doing them because they will kind of help you when you're constructing these things. All right. So we're going to start with the first word, which is a minimum. A minimum is the smallest number in your set. The smallest number in your data. So usually they just give you a ton of information, and the minimum is going to be the smallest number. Now, we're going to go ahead and put a dot next to the minimum, okay? And you'll see why in a little bit. And now I know the next one says lower quartile, but I said we're not going to do this in order. We're going to do this in a weird order. So if that's my minimum, let's jump all the way to the other side and let's talk about the maximum. If the minimum is the smallest number in your data set, then that must mean that your maximum is the largest number in your data set. Notice that I put a dot next to the maximum as well, okay? All right, so we know that the minimum is the smallest number in your data and the maximum is the largest number in your data. Now we're going to go ahead and jump in right smack in the middle, and oh, look at that, right smack in the middle is the median. And you should know what the median is from before. The median is the middle number in your data. Now remember, if you have an odd number of numbers, then you are going to have a middle number, okay? If you have an even number of numbers, you're going to have 2 numbers in the middle. And you're going to have to take the average or the mean of those 2, okay? So we'll tackle that when we get there. On the median, you are not going to put a dot. From now on, you're going to put dashed lines. And again, you'll see why in a minute, okay? So only dots on the minimum and maximum, and we're going to put dashed lines on the other ones. So now that I know that the minimum is the smallest, the maximum is the largest, and the median is the number right smack in the middle, what the heck is a lower quartile? A lower quartile is going to be the middle number of your small numbers. So I'm going to say it's going to be the median of the small numbers. The median of the small numbers. So what you're going to do is you're going to take from the very beginning to the middle, those are going to be your small numbers, and you're going to find the middle of those numbers, okay? And again, we said that everything else is going to have a line, right? So the lower quartile is going to be a line. The upper quartile is going to be the median. It's going to be the middle of your large numbers. So I'm going to say this is going to be the median of the large numbers. And again, I understand that right now that might not make sense, but as you guys are doing this, you're going to see it, okay? You'll see it in action. Okay, so let's go ahead and kind of color code these things. I'm going to try to use 5 colors and see if that's going to help you guys out. The minimum is the smallest number in your data set. Here, I got 5 different things. I got a dot, I got a dot, and I got 3 vertical lines. You see that? Okay. So that's going to kind of match up with this. This first dot is going to represent your smallest number. So this first dot here, let me go ahead. Man, if you have 5 highlighters, you are so lucky. I'm going to try to use 5 highlighters. If you don't have 5 highlighters, then use as many different colors as you can. But hopefully we can use 5 different colors just so it kind of stands out. So that minimum, that's this dot right here. And I'm going to turn my notebook sideways and write that this is the minimum number right here. Okay. Hey, if that's the minimum, then that means the exact opposite side, this thing over here, my maximum is going to be the dot all the way on the other side. Remember, this is going to represent your largest number. So I'm going to write that this is my max. Now, this is drawn on top of a number line. So usually you would see numbers and you go like, oh, my maximum is 32 or whatever number that dot's on top of, okay? All right, just like the other ones, we're going to go ahead and go right smack in the middle. The median is the line right smack in the middle. So we're talking about this one right here. This would be considered the median. Median. Okay, and then the lower quartile. Unfortunately, the lower quartile has a couple of different names. So for right now, I'm just going to go with the one that I think you're going to probably see the most. So let me go ahead and pick, what's a good color? Let's go with orange. I'm going to pick orange as my lower quartile. The lower quartile, sometimes they'll call Q1. So I'm going to use that notation just so you have access to it, okay? So again, this orange one is the lower quartile. I'm going to put LQ. I'm also going to put Q1 because I think you're probably going to see Q1 more often than not, okay? But I want you to be familiar. Lower quartile is the same thing as your quarter one. All right, and then, man, I'm running out of colors, huh? I need one more color. Let's go with your green. My upper quartile is going to be the larger stick, right? The stick way over here. So I'm going to put UQ for upper quartile. But upper quartile is also known as Q3. Okay, I totally get it. Like I know you're looking at it as like Q3. How come it's not Q2? All right. So the way I kind of like to think of this is like, this is the start, like quarters of a basketball game. So this is like right as the game is about to end or start. Okay, this is the start of the game. So you're going to start the game, and then once you're done with the first quarter, this would be like the score after quarter one. Once you're done with the second quarter, this would be the score after quarter two, which incidentally, quarter two would be halftime, which is right in the middle. Okay. Once you're done with quarter three, this would be the score after quarter three. And then once you're finally done with the game, this would be the end of quarter four. All right. So technically, this is where you start. It's no quarters. Game hasn't started yet. This is quarter one, quarter two, quarter three, quarter four. Hopefully that makes sense. And that causes so you have less confusion. The last thing we're going to talk about is a formula they will ask you. It's the interquartile range, the IQR. The interquartile range, that just means whatever you got for quarter three, whatever this number is, you're going to subtract it from whatever you got from quarter one, and then that's going to be your interquartile range. Basically, they're saying like, how long is this box? You take this number, subtract it from this number, and then it tells you, how wide that box is. Okay. All right. I know that's a lot of setup. It's once you get the hang of it, it'll be really, really easy, but you do have to kind of know what the things are. All right. So here's my data. I got 11, 5, 10, 5, 4, 3, 8, 4, 9, 11. I want to set up a box and whisker plot. Okay. In order for me to set up my box and whisker plot, I need to know my minimum, my quarter one, my median, my quarter three, and my maximum. How do I do this? Well, first of all, if I'm going to find the median, I need to put these numbers in order. Okay, so let's go ahead and put these numbers in order. I'm going to start with the smallest one first. My smallest number is 3, so I'm going to cross it out and write it again, 3. The next smallest one is 4, but I have another 4 and another 4, so I'm going to write 4, 4, and 4. My next smallest numbers are 5 and 5. And then my next smallest number is 9, followed by a 10, followed by an 11 and 11. So there are my, whoops, hey, I didn't mean to do this, but I'm so glad I did. I'm sure some of you guys caught it already. I forgot to write my number 8, which is why when you guys write your list, you really should be crossing these out. I promise you guys that was not done intentionally. That was a mistake. But I was able to catch it because I was crossing numbers out, and I noticed I never crossed out the 8. So I snuck it in right there. Okay. Let's go ahead and start finding these values now. Now that I know my numbers are in order, I can start finding this out. Remember, we're going to do it in the order that I told you to do it, right? So first, we're going to find a minimum, and I'm going to put a dot on the minimum. The minimum value is 3. That's my smallest value. And then I'm going to jump to my maximum. My largest value is 11. So I got 3 and 11. Okay. The median is your middle number. So let me just count up how many numbers I have. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Since I have 11 numbers, that's an odd number of numbers. I do have a middle number. Okay, I know I have a middle number. So let's find out what that middle number is. If I went left and right, so that'd be 3 and 11, 4 and 11, 4 and 10, 4 and 9, 5 and 8. There's my middle number. That middle number is going to be 5. Because I have a middle number, I'm going to circle it. I need you to circle the middle number as well. That median, my middle number is 5. Okay, that's really important because that median is going to split it up into small numbers and large numbers. These are my small numbers over here. These are my large numbers over here. Why is that important? Well, remember that the quarter one, or your lower quartile, this is the one where students will get confused. The lower quartile is the median of the small numbers. Here are my small numbers, 3, 4, 4, 4, and 5. Do not include this 5, okay? So 3, 4, 4, 4, and 5. I need to find the middle of the small numbers, and that's going to be my lower quartile. So again, let's see, 3 and 5, 4 and 4. This one is my lower quartile, so it's going to be 4. To find my middle of my large numbers, remember that quarter 3, or your upper quartile, is the median of the large numbers. Here are my large numbers. Remember, we're not going to include the 5. So I need to find the middle of these numbers. So I'm going to go ahead and cross out left and right, left and right. It's 10. 10 is my quarter 3, and I'm going to put a stick there. All right, guys, I did pretty much all the work. I know that my minimum is 3. I know my first quartile is 4. I know my median is 5. My upper quartile is 10, and my maximum number is 11. Let's go ahead and start drawing a box and whisker plot off of this. To start a box and whisker plot, first, you're going to draw a number line. This number line needs to include all the numbers from your minimum value all the way up to your maximum value. Do not skip around, all right? So it's going to be a number line. Do not skip around. We're going to start with our smallest number, 3, and I need to go all the way up to 11. So it's going to be 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Kind of did that kind of small. I guess I can go 12 and 13. I'm not going to use those numbers, but it's going to make my number line look a little bit better. All right, let's go ahead and start graphing this. Minimum is 3. Notice that on the minimum, I have a dot. So you're going to start floating. Guys, these graphs are floating. Do not draw them on the number line. You need to draw them on top of or below the number line. I don't care. Just don't put it on the number line, okay? So these are going to be floating graphs. I already got my minimum of 3. Check. The next one I'm going to do is my maximum of 11. That's also a dot on 11. I'm going to put a dot. Perfect. All right. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a line on my median. My median was 5, and I'm going to draw a line that goes above and below my dot. Okay. Notice that this is still floating. It's not touching the number line. All right, so I got a line on my median, check. I need to draw a line on my lower quartile or my Q1. My Q1 is 4, so I'm going to draw a line there. Make it the same size line as the other one. Check. And then I need to draw a line on my Q3, which is 10. Check. All right, guys, that's pretty much my box and whiskers. The only thing I need to do now is make a box and make whiskers. So with your 3 lines, you're going to make a box. So I'm just going to cover the top of the box. And I'm going to cover the lower of the box. There's my box. Once you have your box done, then you're going to draw the whiskers. So on the side, you're going to go straight to the side of the box and straight to the side of your box. Is that a weird looking box and whiskers? Absolutely. But I mean, that's the way my data is set up. Okay. What that's telling me is half my numbers are inside this box, right? That's where most of my information is right inside that box. Somewhere between 4 and 10 is where most of your numbers are going to lie. And then you have like these extra numbers out here between 3 and 11. Okay. Okay. The last thing we're going to do here is we're going to find the inner quartile range, the IQR. Remember, to find the IQR, all you got to do is take your quarter 3 and subtract quarter 1. My quarter 3 was 10. My quarter 1 was 4. 10 minus 4, and I get 6. So 6 is my inner quartile range. That just says, your numbers are going to be, most of your numbers are spread out within 6 units of each other. All right, let's go ahead and scroll on down to the next one. All right, let's see. I got my data set here. It says 43, 45, 50, 41, 39, 40. You can see the numbers. I'm going to make my box and whiskers, right? So let's see. First off, I'm going to go ahead and put these numbers in order. It looks like the smallest number I have is 41. So I'm going to go ahead and cross it out and write 41. The next one is 42. I got 1, 2, 2 43s. Thought I had more. 144. I got a 45. 46, 48, 49, and a 50. 48, 49, and 50. Wow, these numbers are really spread apart. Okay, now that I have them, let's go ahead and find the minimum value. Remember, I'm going to put dot, dot, line, line, line. My minimum value is my smallest value, which is going to be 41. My maximum value is my largest value, which is going to be 50. All right, let's find the median. The median first, let's find out how many numbers I have. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh no, if I have 10 numbers, that means I'm going to have 2 numbers in the middle. So let's see what I got. I got left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right. These are my 2 middle numbers, 44 and 45. When you have 2 middle numbers, you need to take the mean of those 2 middle numbers. That means you need to find what's in the middle of 44 and 45. Now, that's pretty easy. It's 44.5. But if you didn't know that, you would have to take 44 plus 45 and divide it by 2. You got to take the average of the two, okay? 44 plus 45 is 89 divided by 2, and that is 44.5. I don't know why I did that and having all that space. That is 44.5. Hey, 44.5 is not part of your set. So I know that the median is 44.5. I also know that the median is between the 45 and the 46. So I'm going to split right here. This is where that 44.5 should occur. Whoa, that's the wrong spot. Right here. Sorry, guys, it's early in the morning. So now that I know that that's my split, then I'm going to go ahead and say that these are my small numbers, including the 44, and these are my large numbers, including the 45. So now that I'm trying to get my quarter 1, I can go ahead and find the median of these guys. So let's see, I'm going to go left, right, left, right. My middle number is 43. That's going to be my Q1. And then on the right side, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to go left, right, and my middle number is 48. Okay, I got my information all set up. Now that I have all the information, I can go ahead and start making my box and whiskers. So remember, you're going to draw a number line. Your number line needs to start at your lowest number. It needs to go all the way up to your highest number. So I'm going to start at 41. And don't skip any. We're going to go 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50 is as high as I need to go. So that number line looks good. Let's go ahead and start constructing this box and whisker. Remember, this needs to be floating. You're going to start with your minimum and your maximum. Those are going to be dots. So minimum at 41, dot, maximum at 50, dot. I got this one done and I got this one done. The next three are going to be lines. Okay, the lines are going to be at 44.5 is your median. 44.5 is in between 44 and 45. So in between those two is where I need to draw a line. So I'm done with my median, and then I'm going to do quarter one, which is 43. And then quarter three, which is 48. Now that I have my lines and my dots, the three lines get to make up the dot. So I'm just going to cover up the dot. I'm going to cover up the box on the top, cover up the box on the bottom. There's my box. Now I just got to make my whiskers from the side of the box to the dot, make a whisker, from the side of the box to the dot, make a whisker, and you are done with your box and whisker plot. This should tell you everything, guys. This should tell you that your smallest number is 41. Look, I could do it without really looking at my data. I know my smallest number is 41. I know my largest number is 50. I know that the middle number is 44.5. I know that my lower quartile is 43, and I know that my upper quartile is 48. Okay, so you should be able to go backwards and forwards now that you have your box and whiskers and you know how they work. If I wanted to find the inner quartile range, you just got to take your quarter three and subtract quarter one. Remember that your quarter three was 48. Your quarter one was 43. 48 minus 43 is 5. That just means that half your numbers are going to be within these 5 units right here, between 43 and 48. All right, guys, we're down to the last thing. We just need to make a quick couple of notes. When you have something that's left skewed, sorry, let me go ahead and try that again. We're going to go ahead and give descriptors for these box and whisker plots, okay? So, as you saw, the box and whisker plots, sometimes the boxes move around. They're not always completely even. In fact, most of the time, they're not going to be even. So left skewed is going to be when you have a long whisker on the left side. Long whisker on the left. If you have a long whisker on the left, we say it is left skewed. What that means is most of your information, remember, this is where most of your information occurs, is actually on the right. Most data on the right. Let's go ahead and get rid of this extra one. If you have something that's symmetrical, then that means it's kind of even throughout. It doesn't have to be perfectly even, but it's pretty darn close. Okay, we say it's symmetrical if it's the whisker on the left and the whisker on the right are pretty matched up. Okay, and if that's the case, then most of your information is going to be in the middle. And then when something is right skewed, then that means you have a long whisker on the right. And if you have a long whisker on the right, then that means most of your information, your box, is going to be on the left. Most data on left. All right, guys, that's all the time I have. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask.